Obi Wan Kenobi, episode 3, has aired on Disney Plus. Got to see it a few minutes ago. I'm a little bit mixed on this episode, if I'm being honest with you. Little bit mixed on it. There were things about this episode that I really did like and was excited for, but ultimately there were a lot of things that kind of let me down. You know, they really did disappoint me. At the end of the last episode, Obi-Wan finds out that Anakin is indeed alive. Now, it's weird that he didn't at all in 10 years hear of Lord Vader. I don't know if Vader's been a secret to everyone or to a lot of people, but he finds out that Vader, aka Anakin's alive, and that leads to a sequence in the episode where he eventually does confront Vader. Now, I know they have 2 fights in this, and the second fight will be in episode 6, but basically, first of all, I really did enjoy Vader in this. I did like how they were putting him together and, you know, the pain and suffering that he goes through. And I gotta say, I also enjoy Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan portrayal, because one of the things I love about Ewan McGregor in this is that he's playing an Obi-Wan who used to be a general, used to pretty much be a badass, you know, tippy-top level Jedi, and he hasn't done that in 10 years. And when you think about it, 10 years is a very, very long time. So he's rusty. I mean, he hasn't used the Force in a long time. He doesn't really, you know, he doesn't have the same control he used to. You know, he's definitely past his prime. And then you have Vader, who doesn't have the same body, but is definitely more powerful with the dark side of the Force. So, first of all, I gotta say, I absolutely love and am so happy that James Earl Jones did the voice of Darth Vader. I was thrilled. I mean, I knew he was gonna do it. It shouldn't surprise anyone, but actually hearing his voice and then at the very end of the episode seeing him credited made me really, really happy. And then I love how when him and Obi-Wan square off, he's like, you know, I am what you made me. Like, what happened? She's like, you made me this way, you know. But at the same time, he was defending himself. But there's a lot of guilt there with Obi-Wan. Now, I gotta say, though, if I'm being honest, you know, this episode was a letdown, dude. I thought the fight between them was a bit weak. Maybe it was my own expectations, but I wanted it to be a little bit more hype, a little bit more interesting. Didn't really happen the way that I wanted it to be. It just kind of, a lot of this episode bored me, and I wound up like trailing off and not really paying attention. So the pacing in this is a complete mess. Complete mess. It was interesting how Obi-Wan was kind of betrayed by the transport driver, and it just kind of shows that you can't trust anybody in this world run by the Empire. The stormtroopers were here, and we find out that there's a character named Tala who's part of this like underground band of like rebels, if you want to even call them that, helping out Jedi, including Quinlan Vos, which I thought was interesting. That was a very interesting thing to say. So I love that Vader. I love how Vader just shows up and starts killing people, bro. There was a lot of cool shit in this episode, but ultimately it was a bit of a letdown. It was a bit of a letdown. And I like how like Obi-Wan was stuck in that fire and Vader was holding him, and he's like, this pain has only just begun. And then Kenobi escapes. So, I mean, this is not over yet. You know, this was to me a teaser for an upcoming episode, for the real fight later on. So, that's going to be very, very interesting. But I hope it doesn't suck. This episode, kind of mid. Hoping the next one is better. What did you think? Let me know down below. I'll talk to y'all soon.